Hello, we're back on Scolla today, and I was thinking about how I forgot to have symmetry turned on when I was starting to detail the wrinkles on his arm, and realized, hey, that's actually good, because I would like to put him in a cooler pose than just this perfectly symmetrical one. So I'll probably do something similar to how I had his concept art shown. See if I can grab that real quick. Yeah, give him his little how's it going pose. Yeah, so hi Damon. Trying to decide if I want to detail out the hands so when I pose his arm, Mordecaido, welcome. Or if I should just launch right into the arm. First, I think I want to fix something that's just bothering me. This little area here, wrinkles don't resolve by ending in wedges like this, so need to fix that. They always have to kind of bulge and merge into other things, or you know, fold around in like a U shape, this sort of thing maybe. It's okay for things to dimple in, but they don't like come up into an arrowhead like that. Dottie, welcome. And I also don't think there's ever like a can't think of an example where one fold splits into three other ridges like I just did there. I think I've never had luck with that being convincing, so they break off into twos but not threes. Living completely in the echoes of time, the creature sits upon the night, making me know its size. Oh no, I've been sick, everyone. Cover your mouth. You don't want to get the Bulgarian plague. So I've got this big bulge here because his elbow's up, so it's pushing that skin, you know, kind of like you see on a knuckle, how you get that ridge like that. That's kind of what I'm imagining here. But unlike a finger where your skin is typically pretty tight around it, this is all very loose, saggy. I've got my nice reference here. In Kitty Cat's leg here, yeah, you can see there's a little Y there, there's a Y there, Y, but I do not see any place where a wrinkle splits off into three. I'm trying to find something that's similar enough I can kind of riff off of it. Zoom in on this. I do not want to do that. Oh, nice. No undo? Cool. I don't even know what this viewer is that I'm seeing this in. It's probably a default Windows 10 thing. It's 10? Is that what I'm on now? I don't even know. I've never been able to tell really the difference between operating systems. It's like I just want to go into my programs. As long as I can go into my programs, I'm happy. So I'm drawing these lines out to kind of familiarize my hand with, in my mind, with shapes that actually happen in nature. If you can call this cat natural.
All natural.
Oh yeah, all natural. Mordecai says, I take a cold over this. So bad I lost 11 pounds in a week off work. Wow, I wish I could lose 11 pounds in a week off work. Can I have your secret? Nasir says,
I make you feel better.
Yeah, does that make you feel better, Mordecai? Nasir says, just got into a huge argument with a friend regarding painting my office walls black, and he said it's depressing, even though I'm painting white patterns and drawing on the wall.
I want to paint my walls black.
Oh yeah, Heather wants to paint her walls black. But we rent a house, and that would be a bad idea. So this little like fiddly sort of place where you have a nice smooth line and then it starts doing this little crumply stuff. That is where that's a whole trick to learn that I have not quite figured out yet. Ivan thinks the cat is cute. I think he's cute. He's cute ugly. That is definitely a category. I think most of the arm that I'm doing, I'm kind of doing this tummy part here. Like stretchy cheese. David says black walls are fine if they don't get a lot of sunlight. It will fade pretty bad with too much exposure. No. I guess if you it's probably UV resistant paint that wouldn't do that. Black is a weird pigment though, because it's very hard to get black in nature. From what I can tell, most black is just super dark blue. What am I looking for? The damn standard brush. YouTube censors, that is short for Damien standard. It's just, see, it says right here, DAM, like the Hoover Dam, you know? Still gonna have this video demonetized. So getting in here and feeling out, making some of these U's instead of Y's, I feel like that's helping. That's getting some more of this little squiggly bit stuff. Or at least getting the feel of it. DAM standards are part of the DAM tour? Probably. I'm sure it's really important to get to have your standards well articulated and enforced when it comes to holding back millions of tons of water. I still have this guy. Like, it seems like every time I work a successful wrinkle, I'm just pushing the problem down further, which could mean that I just have too many on the inside of the arm here. There is this thing where the folds can kind of go up and under other folds. I think that's what I'm seeing in a lot of these areas. Place this away. How is there not a zoom? What is this that I'm looking at this photo in, and why can I not zoom? Plus, minus doesn't do it. No, maybe Z, does that work? No. There really should be standards. Anyway, this sort of like weird convolution here is something I need to figure out next, I think, in my artistic journey. Not my autistic journey. My sister's on that. I'm on an artistic journey. How many elbows does Scolla have in each arm? I have a sketchbook where I drew this skeleton idea of like he has one elbow, but then there's like a weird, I don't even know how to describe it, but it would make it so his forearms kind of be telescoping. I don't know if that's really necessary anymore, but I should break that out so next time I have them I can show that idea. So here we're being left with a dimple in the middle. Yeah, I don't know if that's a thing. Do I see any weird dimples like that in Mr. Kitty Cat? Is that a weird dimple? So this is like where pieces are getting compressed and folded in different... Yeah, I think this is kind of what I'm getting at. So there are dimples, but they're always, it looks like three like triangular dimples. So let me try to emphasize that. Which would mean fold. How would you fold? Like this. I feel like that's starting to get there. Oh, Nasser says happy birthday, Heather.
Oh, thank you.
Mordecai says either elbows or a sorting hat from Harry Potter. This could be either one of those things.
Maybe you don't have enough up there, or you need more lower.
Slowly groping my way towards something that may or may not work. So I don't... This might not be...
Would it help if you do it with just a texture? So look a little bit more instead of blocking the top. No,
that doesn't usually throw me what the texture looks like. Or the material. I mean, you could be right. I mean, it's possible that my eye is being fooled. I know a lot of professionals, when they're sculpting, are popping back and forth between different Different materials. There we go. Perfect. Scolla is the golden chosen one. Oh, that didn't help. I also wonder if I'm making things worse by just jumping back and forth from one problem to another, but it tends to be my workflow. I get kind of stuck in a mental dead end, and so I go work on some other area for a bit. Yeah, this gold is hurting my eyes. Let's go pure chrome. Wait a minute. Terminator Skull. This one tends to be my favorite. Sir says, I was thinking about adding veins, but I think since his skin is thick, it won't be showing anyway. Yeah, they're really scaly, wrinkly reptiles. Sometimes have a vein or two. Well, it's hard to tell if it's a vein or if it's just like where their scaly skin is being pinched up into a weird shape. Here's another very arrowhead looking wrinkle. It doesn't really work, although it's facing inside, so it's not like anyone would see it, but still, I see it. So I think blending from one ridge to another is important. See, right here, there's this problem. So if I, let's see, if I do a little U here, so I guess it becomes a Y. Y. And then this needs to go somewhere too, so I can go into there. I feel for symmetry. Only confounds my mind. Only see the truth through the eyes of the blind. And so this type of little area that's left, that's a good place to go in and add the triangular dimple that I'm seeing, not there, that I'm seeing in here. These little weird dimples, I think might be an artifact of that. Ivan says the cat is like, you see the dancing leprechaun too? Yeah, cats do that spooky thing where they stare off into nowhere. Yeah, and babies too. Here's another thing that I don't know if it's legitimate, is having this like little island of wrinkle between two wrinkles. Doesn't doesn't look super wrong here. No, thing. Well, I want to look at something real quick. Look up reptile veins. Well, apparently there's a vein there, since he's getting a blood draw, blood collection in lizards. Okay, there must be a main vein that goes down the tail there. Let's see if there's any pictures of. Yeah, because I swear I've seen pictures where you can make out like a pretty contiguous vein shape. I'm going to go back to my animal reference. Because yeah, this is something that if it is a thing, having a vein running through the limbs of reptiles, I would like to know that. I don't know if you ever see it on a turtle. Yeah, even this really soft, blobby one, I'm not picking out anything right away. It looks like veins. See, look, here's a zoom. Why don't I have that looking at the other image? What? Yeah, I feel like you see these kind of ridgy things here. That might be the indication of one. Instead of doing a search for vein, I'm going to look up reptile neck. No, not now. Yeah, this is what I'm thinking. Like, are those veins, or is that just a ridge where the stuff's coming together? Like, that clearly looks like the weight of the flesh coming down, but this looks like a vein under the surface. These definitely look like veins. So I think this is definitely a legitimate thing to sculpt into Scolla. That's probably not a vein. Ivan's asking for the name of the current song. Yeah, sorry, I don't have the software to show the title of stuff on my desktop computer. It's right here. Fearful Symmetry, the last shred of decency. So, you want to know the name just so you can so I can skip it? You want me to be your DJ? Fine, go to the next one. Nasir says, no, they're not veins. I used to have lizard like this. It's skin folds. Yeah, what it seems like. Although I do think that one in the side was a vein, until proven otherwise. I'm trying to think if I wanted to put a skin fold like that on his sleeve, where would it go? So I mean, it's one of those things where it's already it's hard enough just getting getting the crazy convoluted folds in there, then additionally adding veins that look right, or whatever, you know, ridges that look right. That's a whole nother level I need to get to. In the meantime, okay, so I'm still unhappy with how this resolves. What happens if I push it into here? Oh, I kind of like that. Then we've got this going on. And then we run into another little triangle here. So I'm sure when I block these out with experience, I would be able to block them out in such a way that I'm not constantly feeling like I need to fix everything. Maybe behind his ears you can add some tiny veins since the skin is lighter there. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I can definitely easily see, you know, having some kind of veiny patterns throughout there. That would probably look pretty cool. Subtle, but yeah. This makes sense to have this kind of drape coming down and then splitting like this. I feel like that's kind of what's happening here and here. Got these folds coming down. I don't really see, well, this one, so this one comes down and then like that, which is pretty strong, but it's not quite this T-shaped split that I've got here. This is also kind of a no man's land. Something that is hard to resist is to kind of get a formula in your head and then uniformly coat an entire surface of something with that formula. And that very seldom leads to success, because nature keeps things variegated. So like on this cat, even though it's pretty homogeneous surface, look at like the tail. There's almost no wrinkles at all. Obviously the back where the skin is being pulled tight, hardly any wrinkles. So yeah, you've got the toes and stuff. It's definitely and okay, so here's I think apropos to what I'm speaking of, specifically on the part of Scolla I'm doing, which is you've got these folds where the neck is moving, it's pulling the skin in one direction, but then there's still this area, and it's like this area is not the same kind of fold wrinkle patterns that you're getting everywhere else. What's going on in there? It's like just kind of subtle ripples. So I need to make sure that I'm leaving that sort of thing in here, but I also want it to make sense. It needs to read right, like it does on Mr. Bald Cat. And that's all about the area around it and how it's framed, I think. So this is framed by having two. So this is a pretty major fold right here. And then this is a really major one. And then this one kind of blends into that. There's a deep crease there. So I think this is my one that I kind of have it subtly going into that smooth area. And again, I'm coming to this teardrop shape I need to try to avoid. I've been saying, does it have an anus in its hand? Because it looks like it. It has a sphincter in its hand. The sphincter is for exuding webbing. Yeah, so it's got these muscles that can pull it like in or out, more like the sphincter in an iris than an anus. But you know, nature provides all sorts of sphincters to look at for reference. So Stephen Irving, hello. Hello. I hope you like fiddling about with folds and wrinkles until they start to look right, because that's what I'm doing. So having this little convoluted area, I'm really liking the way it looks, but I also feel like it might not be contextually situated well. So you've got this fairly linear line here that just kind of gets broken up. A little bit of divots and then more divots, so it kind of goes from these little lumpy C or Y shapes. Yeah, I don't even know how to articulate this right. I'm just going to try a thing. I'm going to try to mirror this shape a little bit on one side and then keep it fairly straight and linear on the other side. Sarah's asking, how much will it cost to 3D print Scolla, in your opinion? It would totally depend on the style, the method of print, and the materials. There's the very highest res material. You can get like a little 1 or 2 inch thing for like $100 or 150, $200, depending on how much mass it is. But they're very limited in how big they can get. And that's I can't remember what it's called. It's where the lasers. It's a vat of liquid resin, and the lasers where they cross, they heat it and solidify it or whatever, chemically alter it. That's the highest res method of it. There are others that get fairly close, but not quite as good. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna get a bust printed of him. I'll probably get the full body printed at some point too. But start with the bust for promotional purposes for the book. Does this work? I feel like this line right here is too taut. I think it needs a little bit of sag to it. Oh, that's interesting. So I used a smaller brush and I just did it on the bottom half of it so that there's this nice scoop, rather than what I've been doing mostly is having just very like bulges. Linda, hello. Nasir says, so are you going to sculpt him the traditional way? I already did a sculpt of him traditionally. I've changed the design a bit since, but yeah, I don't think I'm going to do a traditional sculpt. Okay, so doing a bulge just at the bottom gives a nice saggy weight to the skin that I haven't quite been capturing until just now. Dane69 says stereolithography. I think stereolithography is the more generic term for all you know, computer to 3D printing, but I'm not sure on that. I remember when I was going to the Art Institute of Seattle in the mid-90s, that's what they were calling all 3D printing. So lingo has probably evolved. Bulge here. I've got one here and one here, and then a little bit of a concave between them. I think that works. This is not working for me just as far as like gravity. I feel like this should be getting pulled down more. So if I just use the remove brush to do that. Yeah, that feels better. Although now this is just kind of weird. What's going on there? So as I'm changing the surface, going from all compact wrinkles to more stretched across muscle and bone. Just kind of doing exactly what I was doing down there, but lighter, and I don't know if that's necessarily the right strategy.
Rise and walk.
I also feel like there's really no definition up here. It's pretty much just a cylinder.
Rise and walk with me.
Though, I feel like if I gave him kind of a little bit of a flappy bit, something you see in reptiles a lot. It's on the Rancor monster, I think, because they were using a lot of lizard reference. It's also on the Colossus sculpture that it did. Actually, this is looking a lot like a Rancor monster shoulder right now. I'm going to go ahead and look that up real quick, just so that I'm not accidentally, replicating it identically. Okay, yeah, he's got much more of a plate turtle shell sort of thing going on. A great picture. I guess down here it's getting kind of close to what I'm doing, but okay, I'm less worried now. Morally ambiguous. Hi there. Says Super Dudester. I'm listening to your live stream in watercoloring. Nice. I wish I could watercolor. Not enough to actually take the time to learn to do it well. I just wish I magically could. You know, those kind of aspirations. Dane says SLA for short. Okay. Stereolithography? Where's the A come from? Nasser asks, does his arms inflate like his body? I don't think so. I think he's just got kind of sacs, you know, like a ring of elongated sacs, probably, I don't know, 6 or 12 of them or something that inflate. I think his arms are just because he doesn't have any sort of real covering on them, and they are very, you know, turtly, telescopically. Oh, I wasn't actually saving those pictures of lizards, was I? I know I made a lizard folder. Where's my lizard folder? Reptile Zoo. Oh, reptiles. There we go. Oh my gosh. How's that for a mouth? This is very interesting. I think this is what I'm wanting his shoulder to kind of be like. So these, for whatever reason, these folds do have teardrop kind of shapes. That's interesting. I wonder why it's different. If it has to do with these like modified skin cells that are like part skin, part scale, maybe? There's an A in graphy. Yep, that's right. So stereolithography is probably how it's meant to be pronounced. There's some more nice stretchy skin. Oh, this is what I was looking for. Okay. So this kind of folds that crisscross over each other. And the more rigid parts of them, like his upper arm, shoulder, back hump. I think that's where I need to get these guys situated. But I'm still definitely wanting to do something like this for his shoulder. It's really hard to come up with a new creature never seen before. Yeah, Nasir, tell me about it. I feel like more and more creature design is about finding any like tiny little spaces between what's already been done before, which is probably a really bad attitude to have. I should talk to some of my creature design friends and see if that's a common feeling, or if they just have that feeling shared at all. I don't want to lose this really pronounced ridge. I've already got the kind of first little indications of these bumpies up here, so I think I'll try to work off of those. They seem to be in rows, like here's dink, 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 dink. Got some little noise coming off of them here and there. This is interesting because you see a row of them, but there's these counter wrinkles that are going across the line. So it's not super universal that it that they go along a fold like that. Morley Ambiguous says, I find it easy to create creatures by looking at the natural world around us and adding a little bit of imagination as far as sci-fi alien creature designing goes. So I work almost exclusively in monster clay or polymer clay. I need to try monster clay someday. Yeah, I'm apparently allergies or something getting at me. So just kind of taking stabs at the direction of these wrinkles right now. Kind of lightly guessing them into place. kind of a spiral thing going on here. Stick with it and see what happens. You think I will fall in love with it, huh? Feels like the perfect mix between oil-based and wax. Yeah, it's the having to have the whole like heating setup and stuff that's it's limiting. I really like being able to take my stuff out on the road. Polymer clay is great for that. Let's see, I want to do a smaller, kind of want to work these dots, these little bumpies down. I'm gonna vaguely follow this same kind of spiral thing that I've got going on. Ivan needs to say goodbye. Goodbye, Ivan. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you feel better soon. Dane says, Monster Clay is very good and goes great with silicone when casting it. Yeah, that's another downside to it to me, is the fact that you have to cast it or, you know, it's going to get wrecked. Cancer says, for the top of his arms, try giving him diamond-shaped wrinkles, curved into the skin, not adding. Probably mean carved into the skin. Yeah, I mean that's kind of what I was going for with using this as reference. These are pretty diamond-shaped. Marley says it melts much faster than oil-based in your hands, really, if you use softer or medium. Yeah, a couple people, I have a little sculpting club at work where we get together on Tuesday afternoons and sculpt, and a couple people use it, and it definitely looks interesting. Every medium has its pros and cons, and since I have not experienced its pros, it's hard for me to just, you know, justify writing it off because it looks like it has downsides. In fact, I think a friend of mine gave me some, and I have yet to play with it. I don't know if these diamonds are getting a little too regular. Emphasize a few of the lines more than others. Let's look at this reference again. So look at how thick this line gets. Like here it's like really thick here, a little thinner here, and then it just kind of tapers out to where it's barely a thing at all. And then here it's thick and then kind of rolls over. So you don't want your lines to be uniformly carved. go in and emphasize some parts and de-emphasize others. Still looking a little too regular to me. Dang, that's the medium you use. Answer says, I hate painting, I like inking more. Yeah, I'm just really bad at painting. So when things look too regular, one way to fix that is to just randomly choose a line and say, alright, you are no longer a line. Sorry. You had your chance. It's over now. I think that's getting somewhere. All right. This feels to me like a solid enough direction to say I'm going to try applying it to the other arm and see what happens. So let's grab the other arm. And give it a quick pose. Not like that.
Crawl to the top of pious success. The eyelids never close.
See how well I can pull this off. Probably not too well, but.
Wait as I strike the
See what I think. Oh, yeah, doing what I think. I think it's a little too angular there. Whoop. Right. Sarah says, does his arm stay handing down, or does he like holding them? Good question. I imagine when he is walking, he probably has them crunched down, you know, knuckles down. That's just my gut instinct for now. Oh, like hanging down? I don't know. I feel like it's one of those things where I just kind of have to discover it. You know, I have to sit with an animator and try, you know, just experiment. See what gives him the right character. Like, I know really well what his personality is, and we just need to make sure that his movements aesthetically work with it. see how quickly I can just block out folds that make sense given what I learned last time. So I'm going to try not to do any dead ends. I'm going to try to not have any tridents.
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. The cool of the eve, the trees clap aloud. Don't be afraid. Memories shatter at light speed. Stun me now. Write me the words that lead me to your face, so I can drink you into my eyes, till I can see none but you when you cover me.
Fat cat, hello. Fat cat, meet your nemesis, skinny cat. Using this guy for wrinkle reference. So those cats are freaky, but I like them. As here says, when he walks, does he seem sliding with smooth movement, or he goes right and left like old people? No, I think he's got a very unique movement that's probably closer to like crabs. How their bodies are pretty much just hover and their legs are doing all the crazy movements. So he can move in any direction pretty smoothly. I need to change a couple of the adverbs that my mom used in the novel. So I think she uses the word waddle quite a bit when she describes his walk, but you know, I changed his design out from under her because she originally had him with 2 legs, and I arbitrarily decided he'd be way cooler with 4. We're still at a stage where it doesn't break anything drastically to make little changes like that. Yeah, that's put a little noise in that wrinkle really helps. Gets me closer to this kind of look. Okay, so here we've got a bunch of skin that's going to be all bunched and pinched up. This is where our kitty cat reference is really helpful as far as what happens when you're squeezing one type of wrinkle into another one. We've got a direction that does this, and then all of this going on. So here we've got stuff coming this general direction. Stuff going this way. And this elbow is actually going to be, you know, it's a bony point, so that has to be an anchor for all the skin around it. You're not going to have a wrinkle going over it like this. I mean, it may protrude like that, but that's going to be because of the bone or the stiffness of the skin over it. But it's not going to be all saggy like it is everywhere else. Aletha, hello. Nasir says that's creepy. He's moving like he's hovering. Yeah, exactly. I want him to move like a Pac-Man ghost.
Hi, Aletha.
Heather says hi, Aletha. Apparently everyone can hear everything through this microphone, so...
That's when I was eating my cookies.
Yeah, I probably heard you eating your taquitos. Right? You're good.
Yes, that's all.
Go, 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 go.
Well, since my jaw issues,
Oh wow. Okay. Well, guys, I think I've been slowly getting up to this threshold where I don't know what's happening, allergies, I've got tears, and my nose is dripping, and yeah, who knows, maybe I'm getting, I probably caught Ivan's cold. Thanks, Ivan.
Oh my gosh, Ivan.
Anyway.
I've been trying to avoid that.
Yeah, I was fine until I started this stream, and now all of a sudden I'm a dripping mess. So I think I'm gonna call it. Yeah, my throat's actually kind of getting ragged too, come to think of it.
Well, it is really allergy season and it's sunny.
Allergies and sunny, and I went for a big walk outside yesterday.
February's a big burst of allergens.
Yeah.
Pretty high on that.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and call it, and you know, blow my nose and stuff. So. Yeah, join me next time, and hopefully I'll be less drippy, and we can see some real mega progress on this guy. That'd be cool. I'm looking forward to mega progress. Yeah, I like it. I like it.
Look at the video of someone petting Thursday's cat.
Petting a hairless cat.
Seeing how, like, what is it called? Naked cat massage? Well, be careful.
Yeah, I'm not gonna type naked into a Google search on a live stream.
Be careful, but like whatever those cats are called.
Hairless cat. Let's see if we've got
Hairless.
Sphinx cat. Someone put a tattoo over one. That's hilarious.
Oh.
Goldfish tattoo.
That's awesome.
I need to grab more of these guys for my reference. Yeah, okay. Anyway, yeah. I gotta go, guys. I'll catch you next time. Bye.